Hey buddies, welcome to Mass Games. My name is Simon. Today we're talking about the podcast and the updates since November 24 in 2025. So yes, it's been quite some time. My voice is sort of recovering, having had a bit of a cold in January and a bit of a return since coming away from travelling and visiting various places which have board games named after them, which we'll come back onto. However, there are now over 10,000 listeners across the various platforms and 51 countries. So I've got my Colombian coffee, which is perhaps one of the furthest away countries that we have a listener from, as well as Venezuela. So you have Colombia, Venezuela. More close to home, we've got the Netherlands and Belgium. About just under 30% come from the United States of America and almost 10% from the UK. So going back to November 24, let's talk about that, and then I'll give you some more stats and other stuff as we go through, including some new variants that I was taught when I was away of other games which are local and are the official versions for where they are, which is why I lost some of those games initially. But yes, Bombusters was played, so that was the 24th of November. That cooperative board game, of course, check. All these games are pretty much on the channel. If they're not, I'll let you know. Stalk Exchange, Bombusters, more Bombusters, and Tiny Towns, and Agent Avenue. On to the 25th of November, so there have been daily plays since and daily videos on YouTube and lots of posts over on Instagram too. There have been other games apart from Bombusters also being played that day, including Mutant Crops, Panda Rye, and Pyramido Forgotten Treasures, which wasn't as good, as I recall, as the original Pyramido. So more games on Bombusters, winning those on the 26th and on the 27th with a loss as well, plus Detail, Star Wars Battle of Hoth, so check out my video for that, which is a re-implementation of Memoir 44, reviving Kathmandu, and more games of Castle Combat. Now, I know for reviving Kathmandu, the people behind it, I know they liked my video for that too. On to the Friday of the 28th of November, we've got, although that does seem very similar, Heart of Crown, Path Before Heaven as well. On the weekend, many losses at Bombusters. This started to kind of turn into the beginning of the end in terms of wanting to play that game, as we're starting to lose around, I think it was scenario 40. But we did win at 2-1 B Bakery, or I happened to win that game at the time. It seems to be a slightly upward curve for me, doing better than I had done previously, doing in the past, usually the worst. But of the three of us, being the only people to officially have logged accurately all the plays from 1 through and up to 51, coming up to in a couple of days' time. There are some people who've put them all in as one day, which obviously isn't possible. There's another group who I know who have supposedly played it as a 2. But anyway, Freeze's Landlord, though, did enjoy this. So this is a Freedom and Freeze game involving currency and rent and income. And yes, it's a nice kind of cyclical nature to that engine build. Plus High Foe, playing that as a 3, and Souvenirs in Venice, another game from, which wasn't as good as Deep's Adventure, which is kind of trying to replicate involving tiles, from Oink. On to the Sunday, there were other games though, including Port Royal and Star Rail Frontiers, plus Splendor, and Tief auf Tief, das Wreckage Stapelspiel. And this is a game all about balancing. It's a dexterity game called Animal in English. And I know this particular year, 2026, or even 2025, there's a black and white version coming out, which I'm not sure I'm going to like as much, based on the fact for Hive, it kind of put me off a bit. But moving on to the Sunday as well, there were at least 10 games, I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games of Bombusters, with mostly wins. So we did go back to playing a bit more of that until we gave up on it. Plus Captain Tabasa trading card game, which I did get a bit win after a few losses, which is an interesting football game involving cards with a bit of deck building going on too. On Tuesday, there was Gift of Tulips. So enjoy this game. This is by Sarah Perry in America. And it's a lovely economy kind of game. And it's pretty quick. Lots of economy games, funny enough, involving tulips. There are more games I'm bringing to the channel relating to that too. Plus Mind Cycling, which wasn't as good as hoped. And now we're into December. So I can't stop, more games of that. I've obviously check out my video for that on the channel. And Animal Upon Animal. I'll tell you how many plays of that I'll got in a moment, plus the yearly stats once we get past December. Other new games or other games I've played that month include King Domino. That was on the 4th, and on to the 5th, more games of Can't Stop, and Agent Avenue, and Bombusters. On to the 6th, Crossmaster Arena. So I've got a video coming out in the next few days for that. and that is a battling game. Lots of these games are available digitally as well. On to the 8th, Nature, which is an evolution game, thinner, lighter. I don't think it's good though, unfortunately, compared to Evolution. I think it's called Junior, which I thought was decent. More games of Panda Spin and The Hanging Gardens, which I thought quite liked, and Dragon Eclipse, Mistling Academy, Kaiser. So that's the card game on the 9th of December. Playing that, this is a traditional card game, plus Carson City and Tiny Turbo Cars, which I did not get on that well with initially. But I did happen to win my second attempt at it, whereby it's a programmable game. Into the 10th, and there is Quatre Rouge and Hashi Hashi, plus Clue Star Wars, which is a bit different to Star Wars. It's quite good. I can see why some people don't like it compared to Risk Star Wars, which is one of the best Star Wars entries, which is so different to original Star Wars, Risk. However, I have since watched Andor, having played the board game a lot, up to like 43 attempts now, something like this. I say attempts, the last level is pretty difficult, although I'm going to have more attempts at that again, and then move on to the next box, the first big expansion, of which I've got at least 2 of them, plus 2 smaller expansions, and Slay the Spire, which is a solo to 4-player rogue light game. And I know some people don't necessarily say light, they say like, but I can agree with it saying light. And yes, so you can check the video for that, plus Midnight, the Land of the Wolves. Paper World I also played with Russell, and on to the 11th of December, other games played include Cities, so playing that digitally after playing in person as well, and Medu. Other games later on in the month, including on Friday, we played Belladon Bluff, as well as Asteria, and I was teaching more people Bombusters, or even playing with other people who would then teach me other rules, plus Animal Upon Animal. So that is the easy go-to game, Animal Upon Animal, to everybody. Cookie Addict, though, also played on the Saturday, plus Wizard Jubilee Edition and Kotal or Quattle. And then on to the Sunday, Uno One Piece. So that's a new version, special card specifically to One Piece, plus Take 5 30th Anniversary Edition, Beat the Buffaloes. It's a cooperative version, which is great, of Zex Nimmt, which I highly recommend. And playing that as a 2 and a 3, etc. Cup the Crab, this is by Mandu, this is a Korean publisher. We've playing quite a few times, and it's a kind of a push your luck trying to set collection game. Plus Fearless and Eritrees. Again, check out Instagram for photos of this. Plus Henry's Hennen. On to the 16th of December. So Henry's Hennen it's kind of a memory game whereby you're trying to be fast, so it's dexterity as well. And I know somebody who is trying to make a new version of it. Then Yaniv, and the second on Tuesday, which is it's been kind of taken over as an Israeli traditional card game. It wasn't officially Israeli initially, but they kind of made some versions which seem to have stuck. We don't have to play those variants. More games of Cookie Addicts, Gift of Tulips, etc., and Eternium. And then on to Alternitium. On to Wednesday, we've got various games such as Linko and Can't Stop. And in terms of Linko, for some reason the recorder is coming up in red, which has changed. And Linko is another game from Korea because this was originally called Abluxen by Amigo. And it's designed by Wolfgang Kramer, I think, and Michael Kiesling. And it's a 3 to 5 player game. I know 2 to 5 player, not that good as a 2 because you can't steal from anybody else. It's definitely best 4 or 5. And people thought, oh, you don't need this certain card, which is first player card. So they removed it from this version, but you do need it. So I've had a 3D printed links made, which is great. Don't Let It Die, playing that as well, which is a cooperative game, which we did manage to win after a couple of attempts. And also Tsutoru 1010, which is a kind of I think, high kind of koi style game. Moving on to Up and Down, which is an interesting kind of card game. And then on to Doomlings into late December, plus Bucket of Doom, Zookeepers, more videos for that coming out. Plus Irish Gauge, which I did enjoy. Played that a couple of times. It's kind of exactly how I thought it would be, and it was decent. Then Splendor, more games, Gift of Tulips, Blitz. So playing this over in Germany, which is a version of Schwimmen. So there's various versions of traditional card games like that. Spicy and 4 Gardens plus 12 Chip Trick. Gnome Hollow, playing and Dice Veggies on the 24th December, which is a dice rolling game and dice placement. Perudo, Fission, so this is a trick-taking game by Friedman Fries. More games of regular Wizard, plus Cathood. And then on to the 26th, Mayams, which is a dice rolling game, but not as good as Nokmal. And then other games, which I think might be the same designers, which would be Wolfgang, Inca Marcus Brandt, which we'll come back onto. But we did play Knock 'em Out, which is by them. Zuda Block 1 a few times, plus Encore, which is the standard Knock 'em Out, and playing on digitally as well. Alongo as well, which is a kind of an area control game. More Wizard and Schwimmen later into the week. Again, we're over Christmas now. Mycelia played that with a 6-year-old teaching us. Then I was teaching a 6-year-old in German how to play Knock 'em Out, plus IYE or IE. Geese Robin Hood, this is a GMT game. Azure plus Junk Draw played on the final day of December. I'll just briefly talk about January Awesome here. So High Society, Unmatched Hell's Kitchen enjoyed at the beginning of the year on the 2nd. And on to the 3rd, more games of that plus Coloretto. And then on to Poker on the 4th of January, plus Skull King and Stardew Valley, the board game, which takes a long time to play, about 4 hours. Finkel's good on the 5th of January, amongst other games. Formula D on the 7th of January, plus Dragonwood on the 6th. Again, new games being mentioned here. Power Vacuum, Symbiose, Bongo, and The Game, which you can check on the channel, which is by Wolfgang Warsch, which is similar to the Mind. You're trying to play cards and be 10 ahead typically of the prior card or 10 lower. Other games which I hadn't mentioned recently would be Disney's Mickey's Christmas Carol, playing with the nieces on the 9th of January because I wasn't in the UK with them at the time. And then That's Pretty Clever on the 10th of January as well, amongst new games. Plus the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking games. Lots of games of this. Playing this as a 3. And this is a cooperative game, very well themed, very well setting and theme going on here for this game set within, of course, the Lord of the Rings. Tortuga 1667, played on a Sunday, plus more Path for Heaven, and Booty Dice, and plus and Coffee Rush on the 12th of January. And Ocelot's Cave, plus Ticket Gagnunt. On to the 12th and 13th of January, we've got Harvest, plus Rift Force, amongst new games, as well as Popcorn on the 14th of January. It's not bad, but it's not as good as Showtime, which I recommend you check on the channel, from Pegasus Spieler, where you're trying to shimmy in to a cinema to get the best seats, which I'm off to tonight. As well as Ticket to Ride to Switzerland. Later into the month, second half, we've got Reforest, the 16th, we've got Castles Burgundy on the 17th, plus Harvest. Outfox, which is a cooperative game by Game Right, on the 18th of January. And on the 19th, we've got Karuba and Shallow Sea. Shallow Sea, another game by Bad Comet. On to Karuba and Haba on the 20th, which is you're trying to get across tiles and rush, potentially, or pick up gems along the way to get idols. Arigato, 21st January, enjoyed that one. Plus Concordia. On to the Battle Line as well by GMT on the 22nd. Amazonias on the 23rd. And Apiary as well. And then plus some Dominion and Konata. Nonaga, this is a game by Helvetique and Stefan Spieler. So playing many games, this 2-player abstract strategy game whereby you have to push your piece to the far end of a group. And yes, that's another entry game I've been playing with people. On to the Guild of Merchant Explorers, playing that digitally after playing. Many of these games I've played in person first, as well as Flamecraft. And towards the end of the month, we got more games of Cartographers, and That's Pretty Clever, plus Galactic Cruise, which is decent, long, quite a bit to it, bit fiddly. I can see why people like it as a kind of a new Lacerda style game. And Keystone North America 2nd edition. So this is a 2-player only, but you can get a 4-player expansion, whereby you're trying to get the most points by getting sequences of animals going up or down between 1 to 5 in a 4x4 grid. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 5, etc. Plus the White Castle and Pili Pili and 7 Wonders Dice, which you can see why some people don't like it massively. As well as Ice Flow, which I've got more video coming on the channel for that too, so I'll mention that later. And well as Lorenzo Il Magnifico Big Box, who I've since been playing online as well. Unfortunately, as great as this one person who's never designed a digital thing before done, it's not good on mobile, unfortunately. It's just a bit too small. Shut the box, though, into February. Aquatica on the 4th of February as well. Resuffer, so check out my video for this. This is by Vladimir Sushi. One of my favourites of his, definitely in the top 2 presently. And Garden Rush. On to, let's see, Dominion Plunder. Been playing through this box, one of the most recent boxes of Dominion, as well as Space Lab and Galaxy Trucker, the big expansion, and Life of the Amazonia, which is a nice Cascadia-like completing animals onto grids by Bad Comet. and you are looking to get the most points with a unique animal and unique ability as well, which you can trigger if you do the right stuff. Peep Mats was okay, wasn't as good as I hoped, plus Ghost Galore and Hallahu. And Catan New Energy is okay, took a while to kind of get into that one. I like it in the sense that everyone can lose. That's quite interesting. Stone Spire Architects as well, which kind of wasn't as good as I hoped. And what other games to talk about? We've got Pergola. So this is, I initially played as Gardeners and as a prototype, so now you can see the full video for this. And the Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship. So this is the pandemic version, very good, like War of the Ring, but it's a bit more like Fall of Rome. So it's very chainy, which is, it's chainy in the other ones, but yes, you have to pay more attention, put it that way. Mountain Goats, though, more games of this, in which a 6-year-old beats all the adults. The Great Evening Banquet, so this is a Sashi and Sachi game, plus Aqua Garden. What next? Moving on to the latter half of February, whereby newer games would include Siege Storm and Pulp Detective as well. So this is a cooperative game whereby trying to seek stuff out. You can play it competitively as well. Other games which are new include Coloro as well, which is an abstract strategy 2-player only game. We're trying to get the most of one colour, but you want to make sure if you're a tie, you're closer to the beginning of the colour that you started getting that for. So I think I'll be filming a video later for that one if that wasn't too clear. Into March, we've got Elements, which I'll be talking to you about more later in the month. And in fact, at the beginning of May, as you'll see in a moment. So like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Destinies, to finally complete that final mission for that one. Quest for El Dorado, kicking in again, which is by Rainer Knizia. Era of Kingdoms, which was very good. And I did make a video for that, so you'll have to check that one out. And it's a very simple sort of engine building game, but it's very nice. And Nunatak, Temple of Ice, I filmed that. That's with a 3D printed insert. Takta, I was playing when I was over in the stands because I went to see Merv in Turkmenistan. Yinch, as well as Spirited. Some of these games are playing digitally as well. Spirited wasn't as good, and it seems most people aren't enjoying it from Garfield Games compared to their other releases so far. But I have been playing Russian checkers, whereby you can regularly take backwards and also have your king fly backwards and fly forwards as well. Plus many games of regular chess and long backgammon, which is called like Nutu, whereby you can, it's very defensive as opposed to very aggressive in that Russian checkers. This is very defensive. You literally do not take anything. Nothing goes back to start. Diamond second editions, that's going live in a few days, which is Hearts and Spades, Might Fitzgerald, Stronghold games. And then more recently, into April, we have Klondike. So playing that dexterity game plus No Thanks. Knockdown Deluxe, Itto, which is a guessing game, which is cooperative, meaning string. Yogi, more dexterity games. Deep Sea Adventure talked about earlier. Astronauts, deck building cooperative game. Bucket King 3D, so kind of a set collection-esque game. Limit, I've been playing as well, which is just kind of a real-world Civ kind of game. Potion Explosion, more stuff coming out about that too. And Raj the Ganges, back to Inker and Marcus Brandt. Flux, Wizard Jubilee Edition, onto Hot Streak, which you can see me talk about on the top 50 most played games in February, which came out 2 days ago. And that brings us up to today and tomorrow, where I've already started logging plays, as well as Picamino, up until the 11th of May. So there we go, 18 minutes, 45 seconds. Let's give you a quick rundown for the stats for last year then. So we're talking about 2025. The total plays, well, there are 408 games. In terms of plays for 2025, we're talking 1,573 in 19 locations, 400 players, 80 were named, 16 games were played at least 16 times, 365 days, 1,452 hours, 261 new to me, and 175 were my games. So there we go. That was last year sorted off. And we did mention about Mayams. Let's have a quick look and see if I can recall the publisher or the designer, in fact, for Mayams, because it was something that I did mention earlier. Let's see if we can bring that up. And yeah, as for the next update, it'll probably be in around 1 month's time, but we shall see. And it'll be significantly shorter, as you could probably guess, I would imagine. But Yeah, unfortunately, the website is down at the minute for the website I checked to see who's in it, which isn't good, but we could maybe log in online and just check it. So let's just have a look under credits and see who is involved. No, it was Jules Messond. Well, thanks for watching. Speak to you again soon. Like I said, for now, back to the table.